The seagulls follow trawler. It's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.
Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Talking nonsense. So I thought, no, enough's enough. Why should I put up with that? Don't back down, double down. Don't back down, double down.
Yes, the Boyce bus decides to roll in at the last minute. Why not? It is Saturday night. Tickets, please. And of course, bring your own bottles. Please drink responsibly. But yeah, I was getting itchy feet waiting on the boxing to start. I'm really looking forward to it. And I've got a mate coming over to watch it with me. But I've got a wee loose sort of window to about 9:30, and I thought, why not go and chat with the passengers? Because that's what we do. And, you know, it's not like it was a bad day at the office in the old SPFL the day, you know? It wasn't like it was a bad day in the office at all. So I'm sure there'll be plenty of smiling passengers joining us in the chat as well, man. I love it. And this is how it all began, remember? You know, all those months ago. What is it? 8 months ago now the bus first rolled in. And I was just doing every show in one. Post-match pish, playing chat man. The Monday Club, I used to do just on my own as well. So it's a wee bit of a throwback to that, but it's really just a wee bit of an extra wee bonus show, because really the reality is I'm bored at my tits. So good to see so many of you on already. Some big names in the chat: Egyptian King, Ryan Taylor, Dan Breen, Brown Warrior, Stuart Miller, Craig White Legend. Who else? We got Joni V's back. Long time no see, Joni V. Good to have you back. Murray Mintz as well. I am very well. Scott House joined us. Dan Breen's having a sober weekend. Well, you can bring your own bottle of, I don't know, sparkling water, whatever you prefer, San Pellegrino. I don't know. But it was an interesting night indeed, or an interesting afternoon, sorry. It's turning into an interesting night now. Bob McBob joins us, and again, as always, I look forward to hearing what Bob's thoughts are on what was an eventful Saturday afternoon in the SPFL. I was working, but I work from home most of the time, so it's quite good on a Saturday now. The football season started again. I'm just sitting there like that. Turn on Sky, watch the football, get on and working hard and all that. But no, it was an entertaining game that we've seen today. I know there'll be a lot of talk about referees, and we'll get to that. I want everyone's take on the decisions, and I like to try and be as balanced as I can about them. Obviously, we need to talk as well about what the ramifications are. Both sides, we were being told by many of the mainstream media outlets, would go almost all season unbeaten apart from their head-to-heads against each other. Fourth game in, and the team's blinked first. I've got to be honest. I thought they were shite with when they had 11 people. There's me talking about balance, and I'm saying that. But genuinely, you're watching the game and you're going, didn't look at it at all. Hibs, oh my God! I mean, they're a really poor side. I mean, there was 2 subs made after half an hour. He could have subbed all 11 of them. It's interesting what this means for everything. Because obviously we're still not top yet. They are effectively a point clear of us, having got that draw today. But we're all, I think, right now in a positive frame of mind. We fancy our chances when we're at home or away, and particularly, at Celtic Park when there's going to be 60,000. It sold out a couple of weeks ago, and now I think as well, just the result today just ramps up the noise volume tomorrow at the ground, and it ramps up the sort of positive vibes amongst the supporters, and we'll probably get a wee bit hysterical at times if we win tomorrow and say, that's it, we'll win the league by 20 points and stuff like that. You'll probably hear. I'm not as convinced of that, but I definitely think we can lay down the first marker of the season. We've not done our bit yet. I'm not saying we won't do it, but it's very, very easy to get carried away when one side drops points. But I think you can only get carried away once you've done your bit that weekend. And the beauty of it is that Celtic's gift tomorrow. That's what we get to do tomorrow. We get to set the first marker of the season. And why not do it in emphatic style the way we've been playing the rest of the season? Why not just lay a marker, but do it with real panache, real style, and a real fucking message? That's what I'm looking for. Brilliant to see so many folk in the comments, by the way. I love it. Saturday night, you are mad. Thank you. It's great to have you all on. If you do want to hit the like button, of course, please do, because it gets it more traction on the old YouTube. Hit subscribe if you've not already. I'm sure all of you must be subscribers, though, if you're on here on a Saturday night. That's the key of having the bell notifications as well, because sometimes I like to be spontaneous, and being spontaneous sometimes leads to impromptu bring your own bottle on the bus shows, and you know about it because you get the notification. And of course, if you want to be like Dan Breen, you can become a member, which is the same cost as what a patron would be. It's $1.99 a month, but we're delivering 5 shows a week pretty much right now. It might increase with when the European football starts. There might be more show ideas as well coming to the fore that I might not be on. Who wants to see me every single time? Nobody. But I think we'll be giving you good value for money if you did decide to be a member. But again, there's no pressure on that. There's a hell of a lot more stuff to pay, each month for everyone who's got bills. So it is very much a token gesture to help the channel, not something I put any sort of pressure on you guys to do. And I'm very grateful for those who do it. It is completely optional. Look at all these names, Ronnie Pickering's in. We are going to talk about the referee. I mean, obviously, we are. Refereeing in Scotland, we've spoke about in the bus, since the bus started, the standard is really poor, and it's not something I'm always keen to go to and really feel like I have to keep going on about, because I don't like doing that. But I think we can all see decisions were made today that are a bit random. So I'm going to give you my take on the sort of key decisions, right? And then I'm going to bring in the comments, right? We're going to have a sip of Corona first, and then we'll go into the comments, right? So, the first decision, should it have been a penalty for Hibs? In my opinion, it absolutely was a penalty. Now, this is not, you'll see with the rest of my calls here that I'm not completely biased. I think there's 2 hands around the Hibs player. His name's escaping me now. And was it Jury? Something like that? Oh, I can't mind. And it's like, Tavernier's got the 2 hands and he's actually gripping his shirt. He's pulling at it as well. He's actually ended up pulling the boy down. Folk are talking about Hammond behind him, but what the ref can see is those 2 hands over the shoulder from Tavernier. And undoubtedly, that has completely impeded the Hibs player in an attacking position with the ball floated in the box. I think we can now move on to decision 2, which is the other penalty that Rangers got, and that's where my beef is. That one is minimal contact with the ball nowhere near the player, and it's given. I actually agree. I think it is a penalty. Okay? I do think it is a penalty. But that makes me even more convinced that, firstly, that first penalty decision that was for Hibs should have been given. Secondly, if Willie Collins remotely worth his salt, he's got the ability to be consistent in his decision-making process within the same football match. To be that chalk and cheese with your decision-making is where my frustration is. And I suppose if Rangers had won, I would have had further frustration than that. But at this moment in time, because they've dropped points, I'm probably able to be more diplomatic about it, which I think is how fickle we all are as football fans. And I think it's the same when you hear managers reviewing decisions after the game. If they get the result, they'll go, oh, hey, it's a difficult job for refs. And if they've dropped points, they want the ref sacked. You know what I mean? And I think it's easy for us to go into that territory. So I do think Rangers fans would be right to say they got a deserved penalty to go 1-0 up, right? But with hindsight, I think you've got to be honest and say if one's a pen, the other one's definitely a pen. There's so much more contact. He's absolutely dragged down, and it's in the box, and it's where the actual, the action is. The ball's just floated above them. So, yes, for me, that's where Willie Collins got it completely fucking wrong. How can you be that inconsistent? If you don't give one, you can't give the other. But I did think both were penalties, to be completely honest. Then we get the Lundstrom red card. Now, that could be costly for them if they don't win the appeal. My hunch is that they will win an appeal if they make one, which I'm sure they will. I didn't think that was a red. I thought that was a bit of a rush of blood to the head from Willie Collum. And again, the first half, there's the Hibs boy with the double barrel name. His name's escaping me. Who does a very similar challenge, and he's not sent off. So there's it going the other way around. So this wasn't Willie Collum out to get Rangers. I don't think. I think he's just below par. He's not good enough. You then get the next red card, and I mean, I would love Bob's take on this. Alfredo came off the bench looking like he was in the mood to do what he did. And he also looks, I'm not exaggerating, I would say a stone overweight. That's unheard of for a player who has been in training now for 5 weeks. He's in the first team squad. He was getting half an hour today to try and probably get him into some sort of shape to start midweek. A £40 million game they've got. They now go into it on the back of a negative draw, a disappointing draw. And with Alfredo Morelos under a cloud, I thought he looked petulant for the word go. He was aiming the flicks at the player. I don't know if you'd seen that, but it was out wide. He'd done that already. Then there's the incident, and Andy Walker, for some fucking mad reason, is convinced it's for another flick that Morelos has done. He's somehow, the replay's now been on, I think 3 or 4 times by this point. And somehow Walker still thinks it's for a wee flick with his boot that Morelos has done. He's still missing the swinging arm. I'm like, what are you watching? And I think he almost goes in that far. And then he's realised he's missed it, that he couldn't say that was a red card offence. Because he knew he didn't back down, he doubled down. And it's because he was embarrassed. Let's be completely honest. Alfredo Morelos, to me, looks like an extremely frustrated player that he wasn't starting. But at the end of the day, the other boy, Kolak, if he's coming in the team and he's starting matches and scoring goals, then you're not going to change that, especially when you're way overweight. So he could be as angry pants as he wants, but at the end of the day, he doesn't look in shape to be starting football matches, and he's came on with the wrong attitude. He's probably now only Morelos could drive down his value after being like an absolute crucial part of their team that got to the Europa League final last year. And he's driving it down with style with only a year left in his deal. Could he leave on a free after all the links all these years of 70 million? I'm exaggerating, but I think it was like there was bids meant to be coming in of over 20 million only and stuff, or 30 million. It's just nonsense, living in cuckoo land, and you're never going to get that for a guy who conducts himself the way he has, and a leopard never changes its spots. It's that simple. So I think universally we'd all agree, and I've seen Bob in the comments there saying Morelos was a red. Neil McCann said Morelos was a Stonewall red, so that's that for me. I mean, if he's saying it, rest assured it was a red card. But now we need to then, obviously, a brilliant moment of magic by Hibs, by the way, as well, getting the equaliser in the last minute. Great strike. They didn't, honestly, I thought the way they played against 9 men, see, for me, they're going to need teams to play with 9 men from the start, I think, for them to pick up many more points this year, because they look dreadful. But what I would also say is, park all that shite now. It's now over to how this affects Celtic. This is all we care about. Celtic now have the... Scott Howe doesn't think Neil McCann's too bad. Neil McCann's awful. He's awful, Scotty boy, I'm telling you. He's... No. He is dreadful. But for whatever reason, all this has happened today, and, you know, I thought Rangers looked poor. I thought the decisions, maybe they were unlucky with one, got, you know, what they deserved with the other. The draw was probably the fair result in the end. And we now go into tomorrow, spring in our step, another 7 days of rest since our last impressive display up at Ross County. We've got options every single position in the park. I mean, he could start a different front three tomorrow, and I think we'd all maybe be surprised that he's changed all three, but still extremely confident we'll get the job done. And we've got extra purpose tomorrow now. We've got an extra reason to go in there and fucking show them how it's done. We have got to go in against, you know, a Hearts team that are undeniably going to have one eye on Thursday. They've probably got a wee bit more depth in their squad, to be fair, than most of the SPFL teams. So I'd imagine, even if they are rotating it, they still put out a competitive side. We can't take it, you know, for granted by any means. I actually think that what's happened today, this Celtic machine right now, they don't go, oh, let's get complacent because Rangers drop points, we'll beat Hearts anyway. I think it almost sort of fine-tunes them that wee bit sharper all over again. I think we go into the game, you know, with bags of confidence, yes, but also now with just that wee bit, that 1% more now, purpose and mojo to get the result. And like I say, I think the ground will... Joseph McGonigal, good to have you on the bus, mate. And as he says, complacency is an enemy. We must fight, Russell. The ground will be rocking. I think that. I don't think the fans will be going in there either in any sort of complacency mode. I think the fans will be going in there with real excitement, but also, like, just, again, it's just, it can lift you that wee bit, that wee percent or two more. Now, you might find that a scary thought because Celtic haven't looked like a team that's needed to raise the bar anymore, considering their performances this season. We've been electric as far as I'm concerned. 10 goals in the first 3 games. And 2 of those, you know, it could have been more in my opinion. So this game tomorrow takes a whole new meaning. What are the possible outcomes? The possible outcomes are we drop points, first and foremost. I mean, it's unlikely, but we need to look at it. Say we did draw as well. We'd still be on the top of the table with the better goal difference, still feeling pretty confident, but it'd be a chink in the armour. We'd have blinked back, basically. And then I think if we do drop points tomorrow, you can officially say this title race, you know, looks like it's going to go to the wire. My hunch is, though, Celtic will get the 3 points tomorrow, and in style. I see a better performance now for what's happened today. And that's saying something, because I actually expect Celtic to win. I think I picked 4-1 on the old SPFL Predictor League that we do. And I'm feeling even more confident now. Celtic will put a show on tomorrow. But what does that then mean? That would then mean we go 2 points clear. I had to work that out there. 2 points clear because there's only been 4 games and Rangers will have 10 points from them. We'll have 12. Now, that lead might not sound a lot, and of course it's not. It's a mental thing at this stage. It's all about, can you hang? Can you chase? And for me, when Rangers won the league, not last season, the season before, they proved themselves to be, once they got not their noses in front, but their noses, arms, legs in front, they were very comfortable at keeping that gap and actually extending it. And were pretty relentless in the end. But last year when the going got tough, they got going. Now, folk don't want to admit that, but it's fucking true. They, you know, their fans will tell you the reason they didn't win the league was stupid points given away. Stupid points get given away because of the pressure of a team beginning to breathe down your neck. And I feel right now, this will be another test for them. If they go 2 points behind, they're chasing already after 4 games. We then play them at home in only a few weeks, a couple of weeks. Suddenly you look at that and go, well, we'll go into that game as favourites unless we fall off a cliff in the next 2 weeks. We go into that game as favourites. And as Ryan Taylor says, then you could be looking at a 5-point gap by the beginning of September. And from my memory, Now, the core of their team is very much the same as it has been for the last 3-4 years. There is one or two exceptions, of course there is. There's always going to be that. But the core of their team is very similar. From my memory, they don't fucking like it when they're behind. And in fact, when they fall behind like 5 points, we'll be the ones that are more likely to pull away than they are to close that gap. So very interesting to see that after 4 games with that 2-point lead, what now the ramifications are for that Glasgow derby in 2 weeks, against opposition FC. It'll be interesting. But Celtic, we can't get ahead of ourselves. Celtic need to focus on, first and foremost, the big one tomorrow. And that game, again, 3 points is all that was up for grabs yesterday, and it's all that's up for grabs tomorrow. Of course, that is the case. But you just can't help but feel it means a wee bit more now, lads, lassies, whoever's all in the chat. Being all sexist, they're just saying, lads, apologies. It does take on a new meaning. How is everyone feeling in the chat about the game tomorrow now? Is it brought on more excitement for it? Does it make you more nervy going into it because there's a wee bit more riding on it now? Because this could be the first time we get a lead in the title race, as it were. Or does it just mean nothing changes? It's fucking August. 3 points. That's all we care about. Don't focus on the rest. That'll be Angie's mantra. It will be very interesting. Jerry Coyle is saying we're an animal like you've never seen. Well, absolutely. I think we're hoping to prove that as well tomorrow. And the goal threat that we've got right now, the various players that are scoring goals as well, that's another factor for me. There's so much confidence throughout the squad. We were talking, I don't know if you have seen Phil McGinley's Nostalgia for last night. It was fucking great fun. Talking about Chris Sutton. And we were saying how he brought this level of confidence into the team. Well, guys like Jota, when he's doing what he's doing in the park right now, he comes off the park, he's maybe a really humble guy, and he maybe doesn't have that same, gravitas as Sutton did at the time, that presence, that arrogance. But what Jota's doing on the pitch will have the rest of the team in awe, but it also just gives them that wee lift, gives them that wee boost of confidence going, we've got him, he's in the team. And I think we've got that now, as I say, with the amount of varied scorers that are grabbing goals for Celtic this season already. I think we're getting that confidence level just lifting every week. Are we an animal like we've never seen before? You never know. You never know. Phil McGinley's on. There he is there. Comfortable victory tomorrow. Stadium will be jumping. I agree with that. And the boys will rise to the challenge and turn on the style. Monty's asking, sorry, mate, anyone got a spare for tomorrow? If you don't know Monty on Twitter or that, just get in touch with me. I can get in touch with Monty. I'm more than happy to do that. Or obviously just reply to him in the comments. But if anyone's got a spare for tomorrow, Big Monty is looking. Scott Howe wants to get into his ideal week. And it's interesting. He thinks it could be unreal because we get 3 points tomorrow. We go 2 clear. Rangers get put on Wednesday. Champions League draw Thursday. Oosh. Now, what do I make of that? Yeah, I think we need to be honest. I hate coming over like petty, like, see when focusing at, like, in the social media, is like, oh, I've only been supporting PSV for 7 days. I'm like, I don't go that far. Like, I'm not going to kid on and support PSV or chant PSV's name or anything like that. But what I would say is, do I want PSV to knock Rangers out? Yeah, I do. And I know it's petty, but I can't help it. I just feel they would be far more dangerous with that Champions League money than what we are. When we get it, we don't do much with it, right? We're very conservative with it. When they get it, they spend that and probably another 20% of it in 10 days. And before you know it, could put together a real squad of players that otherwise, obviously, they wouldn't be able to afford and that are probably too good for the league. That's, to me, would be a concern because then it would be almost like back over to us and we might start ramping more unnecessary pressure, you could say at times, on the club to react to that, because that's what we do as football fans. We panic when our rivals are splashing cash and we're suddenly not, and it looks like our net spend this summer's been minimal and theirs is huge and they're really going for the juggler and they're ambitious. And I think that would happen if Rangers were to qualify for the Champions League. So, yeah, I think midweek, if they were to go out, they still get their Europa League thing. They can try and go back on one of those runs again. But to be completely honest, I am sad enough to make that a perfect week. I mean, the draw on Thursday, I'm really, really looking forward to the Champions League draw. Just to see us in that company again. The company, we shouldn't feel overly privileged at, and this is what annoys me, because why? See, if we were in the Champions League on a regular basis, oh yeah, the draw's on Thursday. Looking forward to it. Not buzzing for the draw, and the draw being one of the things that makes Scott Howe's dream week. But the problem is with that, when you don't qualify regularly for the tournament, you end up being like that sort of kid at Christmas when the draw is getting made to be in. That's not right for Celtic. Celtic should be in the top 32 clubs in Europe, season in, season out. That's what I want for the club. And yes, the draw we look forward to with bated breath. And yes, the draw that we get, we'll be chatting about on Thursday night on the TNF, and we'll be pulling it apart, picking it apart, and looking at the form of the clubs they're taking on and what league they're in and how they did in Europe last year and things like that. But we have to be honest, and whoever it is we're going to get in the Champions League, we just need to embrace it. That's going to be my attitude this week. Positive mindset. I'll be honest, if it were me to choose, I would go for the three easiest teams out the three pots. I want to try and get out the group. I would love that. Third place, I would probably be very satisfied with come the end of the campaign, provided I know that over the 6 games, we competed. That's what I want. I want us not to go in there just, in the Champions League, whoa, yes, this is amazing. That's not me. I'm more competitive than that, and I hope Celtic's kind of over all that bullshit that we've maybe seen creep in of late, where when they got to the big tour, we've made the Champions League this elusive tournament that we're not actually good enough for. And that's almost tricked the fans. Oh, you can't expect to be in it. Aye, we fucking can. Aye, we can, because the teams that have knocked us out to make it, and teams I've seen qualifying out their groups over the last 10, 15 years, haven't been as good as us sometimes. Plenty of times, in fact. So we need to have a right good go when we get in there. We look forward to the draw, though, first and foremost. I mean, if you were to take a team that was not, of the bottom rung of each of the pots, I would say Real Madrid. That's what I think. That'd be incredible to see Real Madrid at Celtic Park, and it's the Bernabeu. It would just be great to go there. I nearly said the Bernabeu there, but no. He's not giving me a lift there anyway. But they would probably be the one, if you were to say, right, look, you're not going to get the easiest teams out of each pot, I'd go, fuck it, we'll give Madrid down for pot 1. That would probably be my take on it. A lot of people will be keeping a close eye on our rivals fixture this week. None more so than myself. I'll be checking it as well, of course. But we have to let it play out. They're different in Europe from what they are domestically, in my opinion. Anyway, I think they're a better team in Europe for whatever reason. Certainly, I'm not counting my chickens on them not qualifying yet. But if they weren't to, and it's going to be tough because PSV looked a good outfit in the first leg. That financial advantage is huge for Celtic. The fact we'll have a points advantage in the league, the fact that the knives will start to slowly but surely come out for Gio, the fact we then play them only a week or two after, or 10 days later, if they were to go out the Champions League this week, you would then be looking at a situation of potentially 5 points clear, £40 million richer, one's in the top European competition, one's not, one's the league champions, etc. And it all just starts, it starts gathering momentum, and before you know it, they could be chopping, changing managers. But I'm getting carried away. That's what we do. But I think right now, all Ange will be doing is focusing Celtic on themselves. Absolutely 100%. We'll be looking at what we can do going forward, the variables Celtic can affect. And at this moment in time, that starts with Hearts tomorrow. I'm convinced we will win the game by 3 goals, I think, tomorrow. I think it will be about 4-1. I'm not surprised if we conceded. But I don't see it being a tense affair tomorrow at any stage. Even if Hearts were to get a goal, I think it would probably be more of a consolation. I can't see us freezing under this atmosphere. I think we will be embracing it. I think the fans will create a carnival atmosphere as well for the team, just because they're generally going to be buzzing. This team, I think as well, proved last year they smelt blood. I mean, they smell blood, they take advantage. We're currently 35 domestic league games unbeaten in a row. That is a huge, huge record that isn't a lot made of it right now, but it will start making noise and it will start becoming a streak, if you like, that potentially could add a wee bit of pressure on us at stages. I remember with Brendan Rodgers' domestic unbeaten run, and yeah, we lost it emphatically at Tynecastle 4-1, but that had almost became crazy because I remember we were behind, I think it was it Motherwell, about, I don't know, about 45 games in. I think it was for part. And like, I was kind of shiting myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, because of the record more than just the actual, you know, the ramifications of what would happen if we drop points, etc. So I think there can be pressure with that, but I also think you need to doff your cap to the Celtic team and go, 35 games unbeaten. Does it stop tomorrow or does it become 36? I think it becomes 36. So when we focus on these things, we're on an incredible run ourselves right now. We have strengthened the squad. We've not lost anyone from it as of yet. We have players on real form already this season. They've hit the ground running. We have a team that is extremely fresh because we've not had the stress, the extra minutes of these games, of the, you know, the qualifiers that I'm referring to, and all the drama that they bring. We've not had any of that. It's been almost so plain sail, and it's not felt like Celtic this August. August has been, see, like in a weird way, right? And I'd, let me indulge for a minute. See, for the channel was getting, I think right now we're sitting 33% down on views this month than what we were in July. Now, the league season started on July 31st. So in pre-season, we were getting a third more views on the channel than what we did in August. The reason for that is August is notoriously a busy month for the podcast world, the channels and all that, for Celtic in particular, because there's usually a fucking nightmare that's happened. A car crash has occurred. Cluj have put us out. Midtjylland have put us out. Whoever it may be has put us out. Sarajevo, stuff like that, you know. And this has just been such a surreal, nice and calm stroll. 7 days apart games, but when we play, we're really showing up. We're looking like we've actually got better than from last year. The players look fresh. They've got a real appetite for it. And people are maybe just sitting there going, I don't really need to watch, the pod tonight because I'm fucking just chilling, mate. I'm just happy with how well this oil, how well oiled this machine is right now. And that can sometimes mean that things like the channel will get less views because there's actually nothing to panic about. There's nothing to overly celebrate about yet either, because it's just the opening weeks of the season. So I think we need to credit the team with that, actually, because it's the first time we've had this in a long time. And for whatever went wrong 2 years ago, what the players did last season was so important, because we're now seeing what the real reward was. The SPFL trophy is a big deal, right? But we, between us all, guys, right, however much longer we've got left on this planet, we're going to see Celtic lifting a hell of a lot more SPFL trophies, right? But what was so important was what came with the SPFL trophy. And what came with it was guaranteed group stage football in the Champions League, guaranteed that money. And obviously as well, you're taking it away from your rivals. So what I would have to say is that title win carries so much more significance than just it being Ange turning around this squad and bringing in so many players, and Rangers have been 27 points clear the year before or whatever it was. It's not even just those things. The biggest factor for me was it's actually allowed us, first, entry into the Champions League, secondly, the riches that come with that, thirdly, a start to this season, that really has been from the textbook, like your dream textbook for a Celtic season. This is not an August that we are accustomed to, ladies and gentlemen. It's not what we're used to. I'm enjoying it. And if the channel gets less views, if that's a byproduct of it, that's fine. Maybe other ones are still getting loads. I can only talk about this one. It's the only one I'm aware of in terms of viewing numbers. But wouldn't surprise me because, misery, what is it Mark Kearney always tells me? Misery loves company. And then right now, we've not really had a moment to be elated about yet because it's all just very getting professionally done right now. It's so slick. We're just a machine right now. So, there's not been any bumps in the road yet. And I think that's really due to the achievements of last year. And Jim Dolan wants to ask a brilliant question. I'll have the rest of my bottle of Corona before answering it. Jim, if you'll allow me. Right. So, going on an early form, do you think we may go unbeaten in our domestic league? See, Jim, you don't want to sound like you're being overconfident and fucking hell, we're 3 games in, big game tomorrow. We're not any clear range. We're actually a point behind them in reality right now. But flip it. Let's go with the question. Like I was just saying there, Jim, tomorrow, if we were to win or draw, would be 36 games unbeaten in the league in a row. There's only 38 games in a league season, so we'd only be 2 shy, albeit spread over 2 seasons, but we'd only be 2 shy of actually achieving that. So, yes, I do think we could go unbeaten in the league. Do I think we will this season? Probably not. Do I think we can? Absolutely. Just having a wee look, see if there's any other questions getting fired at me, because there's so many comments coming in, man. Absolutely love it. Ryan Taylor, the league would be so much more lively if we had a guaranteed place because smaller teams could gamble and have a go. Well, that's a good point because, like we're saying, the team we play tomorrow have a massive, massive game on their hands when they... Oh shit. My headset's came out. I don't know if you can still hear me or no. 2 seconds. Unplugged the old headphones there. And they play Zurich, obviously, on Thursday for a place guaranteed in the Europa League. But the real signs of progression for the coefficient is the fact that Hearts, even if they do go out to the Swiss champions, by the way, that's what they're playing tomorrow. Hearts finished 3rd in our league, have to beat the Swiss champions to get in the Europa League group stage. But if they don't, they drop into the Conference League guaranteed. Now, Ryan, that's, to me, a positive step because it still means that'll earn Hearts some sort of coin that they wouldn't normally get because they're going to have 6 group stage matches to have. They'll select Tynecastle for every single one of them. I mean, no doubt about that. And that, at least, then you're then seeing that money sort of coming back into the Scottish League again. And of course, when we look at Celtic going into the Champions League, I'm sure there's some sort of spread of wealth that happens where whoever it is in the league that in your domestic league, if they qualify for the Champions League, there's some sort of solidarity payment that gets made by UEFA to all the rest of the clubs that filters through the league. Dan Breen Boyce is under pressure with the comments. He won't be doing this again. I just stepped on the headphone cable. I'm quite enjoying it, mate. I'm quite enjoying it. It's good to do something a wee bit different. And as I say, this is how the Boyce bus started. We used to do Fan Cam Live on its own. The Monday Club I was on my own. Post-match pish on my own. It was mad. So I guess a wee blast for the past. But it's hard to keep up with all the comments. I can't deny that. Mark Riley, good evening to you, pal. Hope you're good. Chris D, see, he's feeling optimistic as well now about Europe. With what we know and what we have seen from Ange, do we think we won't be competitive? Can't wait. I mean, I know. So far, so good with Ange Postecoglou, isn't it? I mean, everything he touches has turned to gold so far, other than like what the Scottish Cup semi-final, we were probably pretty poor, but and Bodo Glimt. But against the bigger teams, with the confidence that Ange instills in the team as well, I mean, if we play the way we do, it's fucking risky, right? And we all might need to prepare ourselves for a bloody nose. But also fills you with excitement as well, doesn't it? Celtic hosting, I don't know, I think someone in the comments was saying they would like Liverpool earlier. I mean, Celtic hosting that Liverpool team, but just goes fucking at it with them. Imagine, their front three causing us bedlam every time they get forward, but also our front three causing Andy Robertson, headaches with Maida running at him, or Jota's trickery, Trent Alexander-Arnold struggling to deal with Maida's pace or Jota's trickery, or Abada's pace, directness, whoever it may be. And then you've got Kyogo's mad runs, or you've got Chaos Giacomakis throwing about Virgil van Dijk. Did I say that? But you've got Chaos causing this completely different conundrum that you don't really get often in the EPL anymore. And how much fun could that be, seeing Celtic in that environment, playing with that freedom? And you would probably find you would end up with a group quite like the one that the boys on Nostalgia 2 weeks ago were discussing. 3 points, I think, we got under Brendan Rodgers in his first Champions League campaign. A draw with Man City home and away, and a draw with... Someone will tell me in the comments. But the draw with Man City, the 3-3 was just rock and roll football. It was an absolute tear-up. And it was the first time I think Guardiola dropped points that season. At City, I think it might have been his first season at City. And we really stood up to... We played with our own style that night. We didn't play the fixture on that occasion. And I'm a fan of playing the fixture sometimes. But instead, what we did was we just went, doesn't matter if it's Man City or not, play your football. Play the way we do, the weekends. Play the way we do on the training pitch each day out. Give them something to worry about. Give them something to think about. And it works both home and away. I think when you look at the that Man City team, you're not expected to get anything from a team that's financially dwarfs us like that. And it's not, the gulf is crazy when it comes to teams like that. And yet we had a right good go home and away, and we got 2 points from the two games, and so did Man City. So it's not too bad at all. If we can do that under Ange. Loads of comments, fan, and try to keep up with these. It's mad. Brian O'Donnell, Boyce needs a personal assistant to read out the best comments and to point out that every single Rangers player on Helicopter Sunday was illegally registered. An automatic 0-3 loss, aka Legia of Warsaw. Brian, thank you for that insight. Hopefully there'll be no helicopters this season. We'll have the job done as early as possible. Bob McBob, he thinks it'll be comedy cabaret nights under the disco lights for Celtic in the Champions League. And to be fair, we've had a wee bit of that in the past. There's been some drop-ins, we can't deny it. There's been some games where we have been on the wrong end of some serious doings. And I suppose I like to be a bit braver. I think the gulf between players is a bit of a myth, because in modern day football, everyone cares about the pound, or in Calvin Bass's case, the euro. Because what actually happens is people forget that Celtic under Gordon Strachan were beating likes of AC Milan at home. AC Milan, that team, when you look back at it, Pirlo, Nestas, Seedorfs, fucking frightening, Inzaghi's, who else? Kaká, fucking hell. It was a joke how good that team was. And you're not telling me the gulf between them and us having a 700 grand striker from Motherwell, Scott McDonald in the team. That gulf is just as big as what any gulf could be, because Pirlo was absolute world class footballer, and Scott McDonald was an SPFL striker. And yet we still managed to do it because fucking up there, we had the mindset. We believed we could do it. And obviously, I know someone else is coming talking about the Mark Bradley. It is good evening to you, Mark, mate. Time to end all this Celtic Park atmosphere. Push and start aiming for more than a terrific night out under the lights. Get serious, Celtic. I agree. I find the fanfare stuff fucking embarrassing. I hate this. This go-to thing with quotes from players drives me up the wall. You know, guys that have played at Celtic Park 10 years ago get asked a question directly about Celtic. Of course, they're going to say, it's a unique club with a great history and the stadium's amazing. I was lucky enough to play there. This is, do you think they give a toss? No, they don't. So why are we clinging on like it's some sort of badge of honour that Zlatan Ibrahimovic thinks Celtic Park's got a great atmosphere? Fuck that. I want them to come out and go, oh, the ref was influenced by the crowd and that's why it was such a hostile atmosphere that we didn't get anything tonight. Because that will mean that we've put up a performance but we got something from it. That's what I want. That's the quotes I want. I don't want these quotes, us celebrating quotes like that. I don't want fans or players especially to be cutting about Celtic Park, taking selfies and all this nonsense. It's like, no. I want them to go there and feel, for the moment they're in there, uncomfortable. I wonder if there could be a movement this year by the Green Brigade or any other fan group to do like what they do outside Anfield, and when that tour bus, but it is a kind of tour bus with some of these teams. When that, away team's bus arrives, it's just green smoke going all around either side of the bus. I'm not saying, by the way, vandalism or anything like that, but just let that bus, when it's creeping up to the ground, just imagine like two sides in the street, just full of Celtic fans, making it hostile, with the scarves over their head, green smoke bombs going off everywhere, and them just to be like, what the fuck is this? I think that would be amazing. And obviously, I don't know if they've got, people have jobs and stuff. So I'm not putting any pressure on anyone to do it. But I think stuff like that would definitely work as well. And we need to use, by the way, every trick in the book. It's great fantasizing that Ange Ball's going to go into the Champions League, take these teams on, go toe to toe, and we're going to get some amazing results. It's a lovely idea. But in my mind, we will need more than just the ability these players have, right? And what that could mean is hostile atmospheres, intimidation, the fans being on everyone, on the cusp of being, a volatile atmosphere. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to a friendly one. And I'll go back to it. And this is my takeaway. Celtic, take the risk. We get fined off UEFA every year anyway. Fuck it. See, after the Champions League theme, play the Celtic song. Do it for Bertie. I don't care what the reasons are behind it. I'm sure Bertie would be winking and smiling down though, because he knows a thing or two about the European Cup. But once that Champions League music stops, I don't care if we're not allowed to play a tune. Fucking play one. But they're not going to chuck us at the tournament for it. They'll fine us. Who cares? Get the Celtic song played and get the atmosphere going, because that 4 to 5 minutes gap between the Champions League music, where all the fans are animated, to then the kickoff, it just goes a wee bit flat now. Under Cindy Claxton, under Martin O'Neill, that wasn't the case. Champions League music played, everyone just, so weird at Celtic, everyone just goes, ah, it's mad, but only, I love it. But then that silence gap, we could be doing, getting on that PA, fucking push the button, take the 4-5 grand hit. Who cares? Do you know what I mean? They're making plenty. And if we get a win or a result, bear in mind it's like 500 grand if you get a win. In fact, it might be more than that. Someone could correct me in the comments. I think it's about 500 grand for a win and 250 grand for a draw. So, that would be paying for itself if that's playing a small part. Why not get it back to being that place players dread, not that place that players have postcards of it and shit, you know what I mean? Anyway, that is 23 minutes to 10. I've got to go because my mate is going to be here anytime soon to watch the boxing. Just quickly on that note, with the boxing, Ryan, get me on the mic. I'm fucking up for it. How do I see the boxing going tonight? I can't see past Usyk. I know some folk are saying, I don't think Joshua's got no chance, but for me, it will be an Usyk win. He will win by stoppage. And I think I'm going to say round 7. Round 7 for tonight. Round 7. Not a total KO, just a stoppage for Usyk. That's the way I see it. Thanks to all you who've joined. Over 100, by the way. And it was just an impromptu show for a bit of a laugh. You blow my mind every single time, lads. Again, as always, please hit like, please hit subscribe, hit the share button. If you want to become a member, do it. It's $1.99 a month. Kaiser's done it. As has Gary Brown, Dan Breen, Kevin 14, Phil McGinley, Donny Boy 67, Brown Warrior, Scott Howe. There's loads of you who've done it. Big thanks to you all in the chat, by the way, because that's what helps the channel work. It's been 50 minutes. I've no shut up the whole time. I'm gonna have no voice tomorrow. Who cares? Rolling the boxing. I hope you all have a brilliant night. Whatever it is you're up to this Saturday night. We'll be back with the Sunday Blether tomorrow morning. Regan and Mark Kearney. And then, of course, you will see post-match pish. And hopefully we'll be 2 points clear at the top of the table. Good night.
Some of his comments about me deliberately trying to cause controversy. Well, I work in the media now. And you've got someone sitting there next to you who's an embarrassment to the media profession. He's an apologist. He's a charlatan.